Welcome everybody to the worst animes ever, where we watch some really bad anime. Basically, I talk about bad anime for a bit, then showcase a clip of it for y'all's viewing pleasure. Without further ado, let's start with a true classic and trashy anime, Garzy's Wayne. Or its full title, Tales of Bison Wells, Garzy's Wayne, is a 3-episode OVA released in 1996. Based on a series of obscure Japan-only fantasy novels, Garzy's Wayne was made by the creator of Gundam himself, Yoshiyuki Tomino, who wrote and directed the series. Now you'd think we'd get something cool out of this, but somehow, some way, what we got was an anime that has a needlessly convoluted story, very dated animation, a very dense script that tries very hard to condense 5 books into an hour-and-a-half anime, and an English dub so bad, many lines have become memes due to their crappiness. So without further ado, and without further context of the plot and story, here's a clip.
Aren't you hot in such heavy clothes? Why do you have to go back to your hometown now? You failed the college entrance exam twice now.
It doesn't matter. I will come back after I attend the class reunion pool party tomorrow, Rumiko.
You are so easygoing.
My necklace is rattling. I wonder, could it be the Shiratori shrine? Shiratori? This must be the place where Yamato Takara no Mikoto came down from the sky. What the heck is this now? Ah! Chris! What's going on, Chris?
Show me the ancient Japanese man's spirit. Use the power of the earth and water and power of Amida.
Who are you, a damn ghost?
Why do you think this is the work of a
Hey,
ghost?
who are you? Yamato Takara no Mikoto?
A man is falling down. A young man, isn't he?
What is it?
It's a daredevil!
What? What is going on?
What's that light? Hey!
Get down on the other side!
Looks like Garzy's wing.
Oh, it's shiny. Is it really? What are you supposed to be?
You did it!
What's that?
I'm Balan Buzz!
Son, there's the holy warrior.
Oh my gosh, that's skill. Is he the holy warrior? But why is he
The Holy
accompanied by
Warrior. See the Holy Warrior?
Hey, this little squirt just followed me. What? They use a different language, but I can communicate with them through my mind.
Did Garzy's wing appear?
What a beautiful woman she is.
Is he just a lecher?
Oh, is this Garzy's wing?
Now this will help us successfully escape.
Hassan, thanks for bringing him.
It's the power of the earthenware bell.
Keep walking. Use the escape route we originally planned.
Hurry up.
Get an arrow? What can you do? What happened to the armies?
Give this to the holy warrior.
The winged Valario thinks she can help him?
Where am I?
Here are your shoes, sir.
Thank you.
All the women in the enemy too. Go straight down this way.
Oh my God! Is this a real war?
We of the Maitomius tribe are trying to escape from slavery under the tyranny of the Ashigata tribe.
Now that Garzy's wing has arrived, we can successfully escape. Maiden Hassan's prediction has come true.
What is this? Where did they go? These flying arrows are a little slow.
That's there! They're in the Daraga!
Why don't you use that dead man's sword, Mr. Holy Warrior?
Let go! This is heavier than a damn Japanese sword. I can't stop these arrows. Oh, what's that?
Over here! Come over here!
What are you doing? Since the other tribes are escaping, we can also escape into the forest.
How many people do you think are escaping?
There are about 1,000 or so just in the Matomius tribe.
By the way, that was the first 5 minutes. Right? Alright. Next up is another classic and awful anime, Abunai Sisters, Koko Mika. The show is based on Japanese celebrities, the Kano sisters, Koko and Mika Kano. And yes, I say celebrities in quotations, because they're basically famous for being rich and famous. They're basically the Kardashians of Japan. Anyways, this show is a 10-episode experience based on the sisters' alter egos, in an attempt to launch them as multimedia sensations. Suffice to say, it didn't go well, at all. Mainly because despite the fact that the series was released in 2009, it's plagued by frighteningly terrible CGI that resembles a PlayStation 1 game, even though it was animated by production IG of Ghost in the Shell fame. Really garish and ugly character designs that are very close to plagiarism, you'll see why in a bit, and ultimately weak stories that involve the sisters trying to protect the all-powerful Booby Stone from the hands of evil. Every episode is about 3 minutes, and can't seem to decide who to appeal to. The plots are very simple and full of tired slapstick that would turn off adults, but there's so much fan service and gratuitous sexual innuendo from our two leads that it'll turn off children or anybody with eyes. It's a show that appeals to nobody. In fact, the show is so bad that for a while, everything after episode 2 was considered lost media, until someone found a DVD containing every episode and uploaded all of them to the internet. And even then, it screwed up, as the audio sounds like everybody ingested helium. Thankfully, the episodes are very short, so I will actually play an entire episode for y'all's viewing pleasure.
Keep going, Mika. We need to keep our hot bodies in shape if we want to stay celebrities. Amen, Coco. Yes, ma'am. Quick, search everywhere. Check out that frame over there. We should probably take it down. Let's have a look, Coco. We've got to do something. I guess we'll have to use that booty power. You're right. Get ready.
in the show. Alright, so let's delve into the realm of obscurity. The next anime, Dark Cat. Released in 1991 and based on a manga of the same name by Naomi Kimura, Dark Cat's a single episode OVA that has all the hallmarks of a bad movie. Odd animation, a plot that doesn't seem to know what it's even about. It's both a horror story about demon cat brothers who fight monsters that possess people, and it's also a love story about a teenage couple dealing with grief. It also has terrible dialogue about as much subtlety as a sledgehammer to the crotch, and a hilariously bad English dub full of odd attempts at lip syncing and really bad sound mixing. This is also one of the last works produced by the Nakata Corporation, who had transitioned to producing cheap, sleazy horror flicks and pornography during its final years of relevancy. And oddly enough, in North America, this was first released under Media Blaster's Kitty Media brand, which they used to distribute hentai. This ain't hentai, but you'll see.
Time for a new lesson. Hey. Come on, sir. Time for some extracurricular activities with teacher.
Oh my god. What the fuck? Again, not a hentai.
Oh my god. Thank you, brother. You saved me from quite a romantic encounter. I can't believe that this beautiful woman turned out to be such a monster.
Every human being is filled with both good and evil energy, hate and envy. So many negative feelings can build up inside. They can twist their soul, leave nothing but a ravaged and tortured spirit.
Well then, do you think that's the end of it? Are we safe?
I sense a greater evil here.
So,
God, it's so depressing. That's
don't touch it.
no.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No. What in God's name is that? Chugakubo.
Yes.
Chugakubo. Your evil appetite must come to an end.
How dare you! I trained you as a dark cat, and now you want to usurp my authority! My power is greater than either of you could ever understand!
Brother, are we a match for his power?
We have no choice but to fight him.
You poor fools! You pretend to be so noble and righteous, but you're living in a dream world! Evil is just a balancing factor of life.
You come from the pit of evil and represent legions of darkness. Disappearing and lurking under the shadows of evil. That's the destiny of the dark cats. You enjoy cultivating the evil spirit in humans for your own selfish desire.
Perhaps you need a little lesson, dead ignorant fool. You may be his brother, but you'll sure be doomed if you stay with him. You'll bring about dire consequences and imperil our breed.
The breed? Your breed has brought nothing but death and tragedy!
You fool! I can destroy you!
Damn you! It won't be that easy.
Dark Cat strike!
You know, I could destroy you both if I wanted. Yet I still have some respect for you, so I just might stand your one.
How nice.
Use the sword!
Here's a lesson for you! Yeah! Let the sword of the dark out!
I can't let you have your way. Now you must die.
You might have won the battle, but I'm gonna win the war. And you better leave the school, otherwise I can't promise you certain. Ta-ta for now!
Brother, are you alright? What can I do, brother?
Take me to the forest.
Forest? What are you talking about? What's in the forest?
Please, the trees. Will help me.
Eugene! How long you gonna hog the bathroom, boy? What's gonna be?
Classic.
I think I'm short for right now.
Alright, let's go more obscure with our next entry, Musashi Gundo. I'm wondering, what's this? Well, Musashi Gundo first aired in 2007. When it aired, the show gained infamy for a variety of reasons. Despite the fact that the anime was pitched by the creator of Lupin III, Monkey Punch, the show was regarded as a giant mess, mainly for its laughably bad animation, and a nonsensical plot with equally nonsensical dialogue that often raises more questions, even though a simple premise of a samurai who fights demons with swords and guns. In fact, the show is so bad and incomprehensible that there are no English subtitles for this anime at all, both official or fan-made. The closest thing are joke subs made by someone on 4chan. To be fair, fan subs would imply the show has fans. So I'm actually going to give a bit of backstory here to set the scene for what you're about to see. In 2006, the anime market had become so oversaturated with that Musashi was only one out of 60 shows in development at that time of production. FBA Studio was extremely busy at that point to properly animate Musashi, so the episodes were farmed out to a studio in China for touch-ups. Problem was, because of the show's low budget and overworked animation climate, the episodes arrived a day before broadcasting, and because they had no time to correct or fix any mistakes, episodes were broadcast as is. And it shows. Now, I just want to highlight the intro for a bit. This song, by the way, is called Ghostbusters. No relation. Oh, also Google image backgrounds.
雪村様には指一本触れさせない。あんたたち誰？俺は真田幸村様をお守りする日の本最強の武将軍だ。真田重勇士の一人、三好正介入だ。同じく熱陣発。同じく霧隠れ才蔵。
そういうの自分では言わないの。
預かってくれ。
わかりました。
ああ、来い。浪人とやら。貴様なかなかやるな。本当の名は何だ？ なんと銃から火を霧がくれ才能よ奴はただ者じゃない誘導殿頼んだ恩道なりしめい様か恩道なりしめい様うわ消えたうちのヘンポコ忍者クロートは大違いだなんちゅうバカ力なんだよ
Wasn't that some of the best fighting you've ever seen? Hey, remember Crunchyroll Originals?
No.
So for those who don't know, Crunchyroll tried to compete with the likes of Netflix and Amazon Prime and Hulu and stuff for original content, which sounds like a good idea on paper, but didn't really pan out that well, sadly. And while most of the shows Crunchyroll had to offer under this panel ranged from decent to meh, two anime they co-financed and heavily promoted received universal scorn. The first was GB8, which, despite the involvement of the artists of Final Fantasy and famed musicians the Yoshida brothers, suffered from a terrible plot with ugly animation, bad characters, and an insulting ending that rendered the entire show pointless. But the other show, and the one we're looking at, is far more infamous. X-Arm.
Oh no.
Released in 2021, and based on the relatively decent manga by High Rock, the anime garnered extreme infamy as soon as the trailer was released. Now, it's bad enough that the show poorly adapts the manga story, instead of being a parade of sci-fi cliches you've seen in better works like Ghost in the Shell and The Matrix. And the plot is basically very simple. This kid, this teenager from the year 2014, gets hit by a truck. He wakes up in the future, and his soul is now implanted in a cybernetic brain, which is inhabited by this female android. And female androids put up a task force sent to stop these robots called X-Arms from being jerks. So the plot's not that good or interesting. But what makes the show really terrible, it's animated the worst CGI you can imagine. The CG is so bad, it makes Berserk 2016 look like Pixar. Hell, just saying that's an insult to Berserk 2016, because at least parts of that show are watchable. This show has such bad animation that the entire 12 episodes are hard to watch. It's an action show with bad action scenes, and it's a sci-fi show that's not very deep or engaging. Once again, like the sister show, I forgot the name, Abenai Sisters, it's a show for nobody. And the craziest thing about it is that not only was this show made by a studio who've never been involved in animation in their entire life, they went on to brag about it. Alright, so welcome everybody to So You Want to Get into Lupin the Third, but don't know where to start. So before we begin, let's ask us, I want to ask you, you're probably wondering why should I even get into Lupin the Third in the first place? So many other anime franchises out there. Why Lupin specifically? Well, you should get into Lupin the Third because it has great characters, fun, action-packed stories that are unpredictable and are able to go through several different genres that allow them to stay fresh, from fantasy to sci-fi, from comedy to romance. Lupin influenced a ton of anime, from Cowboy Bebop to Fooly Cooly, and it's also just a very funny franchise that takes great advantage of being animated to deliver some wacky scenarios. Plus, it has a fantastic soundtrack by Yuji Ono that combines jazz and funk to great success. But let's start from the beginning. Once upon a time, there was a man known as Kazuhiki Kato, aka Monkey Punch. Born in 1937 and having sadly died in 2019 from pneumonia, Monkey Punch found an interest in drawing manga since he was a teenager, having drawn several newspaper comics during his time in college. But sometime in the 1960s, he was brought in to pitch a new manga series for Seinen magazine Manga Action. Monkey Punch came up with the idea for Lupin the Third off the top of his head. It was claimed by his agent that it would last for about 3 months. Let's just say it lasted a bit longer than 3 months. Monkey Punch would take heavy inspiration from James Bond, Mad Magazine, and most importantly, Arsène Lupin. Who is Arsène Lupin? This guy is. Arsène Lupin was the quintessential gentleman thief, a suave rogue who steals from the rich and looks good doing it, having started a long-running French book series. Created by author Maurice LeBlanc, Lupin debuted in 1905 and continued up until LeBlanc's death in 1941. Lupin remained super popular and influential in Japan, continued to inspire countless thieves of the gentleman and phantom variety. So Monkey Punch took the stories of Arsene Lupin and basically thought, what if the great thief had a grandson who continued his grandfather's legacy? And before you ask, we know nothing about Lupin II. He doesn't matter. Speaking of which, let's talk about characters. There are 5 characters across the entire franchise, so let's briefly go over them, shall we? Our first, of course, is titular Arsene Lupin III. Arsene Lupin III is the goofy, half-Japanese, half-French grandson of legendary thief Arsene Lupin. Seeking to carry out his grandfather's legacy, and because he's a thrill seeker who just wants to have some fun, Lupin is characterized as a dedicated strategist who tackles the most impossible heists imaginable. And while he has his vices, like his often perverted antics and willingness to kill some criminals who stand in his way, Lupin has a heart of gold that shines in his good-natured care for his friends and willingness to help those in need. But don't let his looks and wacky personality fool you. Behind that monkey-shaped head and goofy exterior lies a brilliant mind. Lupin's a massive manipulator who can trick even the most arrogant and intelligent of opponents. And when caught in a jam, he'll pull out an item from his jacket that will conveniently save him. Say he gets suddenly handcuffed by the police. Don't worry, that was just a fake hand. Just pop out, and he'll get away with it. Simple stuff. Or if he's falling out the air, what does he do to save himself? Oh, just pull out a parachute from his pants, and there you go. So, yeah, and you accept all that, because you can probably think that's impossible. How's he doing this? Well, you accept that because he truly is the world's greatest thief, a title he has rightfully earned in his decades-long career. But he can't do this alone. He has to have a crew. Lupin has a crew with him. And what a crew it is. First off is Daisuke Jigen. Jigen is Lupin's best friend, basically his life partner who will do anything he can to help Lupin in his heist. Inspired by actor James Coburn, who spent the 1960s playing badass gunslingers like in The Magnificent Seven, Jigen is an aging gangster who retired from the business to assist Lupin. Very wry and laid back, with a dry personality and sense of humor, Jigen proves himself an expert on every kind of firearm you can imagine, and is an amazing shot, completely capable of hitting any type of target, no matter how far away or impossible they are. We're talking shooting at a speeding bullet, to shooting off the nuts on a highway sign while driving backwards. But behind that gruff, craggy exterior, Jigen's also a very smart guy, capable of going behind Lupin's back to settle personal scores, from faking his death to protect the little girl, to stopping a mob boss by dodging incoming bullets that end up killing every gunman surrounding him. Well, you can't have the gun, so you need a knife as well, close quarter combat. And just the guy to do it, to accomplish that niche, is Goemon Ishikawa XIII. Goemon is the descendant of Goemon Ishikawa, a samurai of Japanese legend who is basically their equivalent to Robin Hood. Goemon himself takes up his ancestors' behavior and teachings by acting as a rather stoic, but no less intelligent and honorable warrior. A brilliant assassin, Goemon uses both his wits and his skills as a samurai to slice everything in his path. He's never seen without his cherished Zen-Tetskin, a katana able to cut anything, and I mean anything. Bullets, helicopters, rocks, clothes, you name it, they'll slice clean through. Interestingly, Goemon was originally a villain who was sent to kill Lupin, but after the duel ended in a tie, Goemon decided to befriend Lupin and form a partnership with him. Goemon was essentially created by Monkey Punch to add some Japanese elements into what's basically a Western-flavored series. But there's always a snake in the grass lie when it comes to, heists and thievery. So look no further than our delightfully femme fatale, Fujiko Mine. Fujiko is Lupin's on-again, off-again girlfriend, who primarily acts as the franchise's wild card, capable of siding with either Lupin or the villains, depending on who pays it better. As a result, she's wildly unpredictable, and often gets away with the real treasure while Lupin and the villains are distracted. But more importantly, Fujiko is basically Lupin's equal in terms of intelligence and audaciousness, come up with crazy schemes of her own to get what she wants, such as taking out a terrorist gang by getting them to lower their guard, secretly place glow-in-the-dark paint on them, stage a blackout, and then gun them all down in the dark. But compared to Lupin, Fujiko is willing to kill more people who stand in her way, rather than humiliate them like Lupin does, and she's a capable fighter on her own, while using several disguises, and even her own sexual charm to get what she wants. Though whether or not she gets away with the treasure depends on whose side she's on. But every criminal needs a cop, and that's where Inspector Koichi Zenigata comes in. Zenigata is an officer for Interpol tasked with arresting Lupin. Throughout the franchise, Zenigata acts as the Tom to Lupin's Jerry, doing what he can to entrap Lupin, only to fail each and every single time. And man, he can never catch a break, because as soon as Lupin's arrested, he'll concoct a scheme to escape, often by tricking Zenigata. But no matter what, Zenigata never stops, having dedicated his entire life to tracking Lupin down and apprehending him. And despite his shortcomings, Zenigata has shown on several occasions that he can be clever and a clever badass in his own right, especially when he's fighting against other criminals, as he shouldn't be as clever as Lupin once in a while. Interestingly, Zenigata shows care for Lupin on rare occasions, hinting that despite his passion for arresting him, Zenigata doesn't want the game to end. And when the chips are down and a worse threat emerges, Zenigata will put aside his differences and help Lupin take out the bigger threat. But after that, it's back to chasing him. So to summarize, we have 5 characters from across 55 years of media, all of whom are unpredictable, have big enough backstories and character archetypes to make them simple yet entertaining, and are willing to betray each other to suit their personal goals. All of this makes for a wild and unpredictable experience of guessing what each character is going to do next. Twists and turns are the name of the game for Lupin. So with all this backstory out of the way, let's start from the very beginning. The manga. Lupin made a self-titled debut in 1967 in manga action, which ended in 1972. With an art style that resembles the crude and exaggerated likes of Mad Magazine and any manga before or after it, the manga follows Lupin and his gang as they steal and kill to get the treasure they so desire. Very episodic storytelling. The manga was very successful upon release, and would launch a variety of sequel and spin-off mangas. The original series was translated by Tokyopop in 2002, but sadly none of the other manga have been translated due to poor sales of the sequel manga series. So this is the part where I explain if I say, do I recommend something or not? Now, do I recommend the original manga? Honestly, no. The manga was the first of its kind, and it definitely shows. It's very rough, and very different from the rest of the franchise, with its very dark tone, involving tons of violence, sex, and nudity, plus the characterizations for everyone aren't quite finalized yet. Not helping that the characters here are far more unlikable. I know Lupin and the gang are criminals, but it's uncomfortable here at times. You see, Lupin back then was, to quote a friend of mine, a comedy rapist who would often sexually assault women and have it all be played for laughs. While acceptable and very raunchy back then, nowadays it doesn't really scream at merely mischievous thief. Thankfully, this aspect of him would disappear afterwards. Now at this point, Monkey Punch wanted Lupin to get his own anime. I mean, if every other manga got one, why couldn't Lupin? Because of how hard it was to get an anime greenlit, especially for a manga as dark as Lupin was back then, Monkey Punch took it upon himself to make a pitch for a potential anime. And thus we got Lupin III pilot film. In 1969, animation studio TMS created a short pilot meant to get funding for a potential Lupin movie. The pilot's about 12 minutes, and mainly focuses on the characters, descriptions, and backstories. The pilot has a more lighter tone compared to the manga, and some big differences, like how Goemon's a bad guy here, and Zenigata has a mentor who never shows up again. But the ultimate question of if Lupin can work in an animation was thankfully answered with a resounding yes. While it wasn't a movie, Lupin would end up getting a TV anime series 2 years later.